So there are two ways of discussing Bhagavatam. One is, we can go through the verse and then the purport, and then we discuss something. Or if sometimes if the purport is very interesting and it has some very noteworthy points, then we go through the purport, line by line. If what Srila Prabhupada says is something very interesting and something very something which we can have so many points to discuss with. So we will do the latter today. We will start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunivadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so can we have the verse? So we'll recite the verse and then after that we'll go through the purport one by one. This is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 4.25.33, fourth canto, and this is the description of the characteristics of King Puranjan. This is 25th chapter. The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is Krishna's reincarnation. Krishna Svadhama Bhagate Dharma Jnanadi Bisaha Kalau Nashta Trishamesha Puranarko Dunoditaha. When Krishna went back to the spiritual world 5,000 years ago, he came back again in the form of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So if you want to associate with Krishna, then this is the most amazing thing that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam classes Srila Prabhupada instituted as a daily program within ISKCON, wherein we get to contemplate, meditate, and of course chant and recite and glorify the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam on a daily basis, which results in our purification. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki tada rajasthamo bhava kamalo bhadayaschaye chetaiterana vitham stitam satve prasidati. That what happens is that when we recite the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, when we glorify, then sattva gun, because the cleaning happens. Krishna, he cleans from within all the rajas and tamas. In our life, we are not peaceful and we are not satisfied because inside our heart, there is so much of rajogun and so much of tamogun. And all sorts of different nonsensical desires also are there because of this. The more we hear the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the more we recite the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, what happens? All of this rajo and tamogun is removed and sthitam sattve prasidati. Then sattva guna is established. And when this is established, then there is peace. Then you can experience devotion also. So therefore we do Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam study. This is one of the reasons. One of the other reasons also is that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam constitutes kirtanam. Kirtanam means the glorification of the Lord. Kirtan is of different types. The Nam Kirtan is Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan. Just like we were doing a little bit just a while earlier. And then there is other Kirtan which is Guna, Rupa, Leela Kirtan. So the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the name, the form, the pastimes of the Lord. Guna, Rupa, Leela, even his form, how the Lord looks like. You will see second canto. It is nicely described about the universal form. And then you will find that when in the Bhagavatam, so many different pastimes, the Lord personally comes. And the description is also given, how he looks like. So then that is the form. In this way, we can see that the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it actually engages us in pure devotional service. So this is the reason why. More than anything, it actually nourishes the devotees. When we hear about the glorification of the Supreme Lord and the reciprocation that the devotees feel with the Lord, it is very pleasing to the heart. It nourishes us in our devotional life. Like just recently, there was a release of a film. I don't know how many of you would have seen it, but this Maha Avatar Narsimha film has been released in India. And my God, it has actually, it's a devotee from Delhi who has made it, but it has taken the world by storm. It has taken all the, the Bollywood which is there, and this entire distribution network that exists of films. People are actually shocked at how an animated film, that also devotional, is doing so well. But for the devotees, my God, it is such a moving experience, because you see the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam practically live, and you cannot stop tears rolling down the cheeks. You cannot stop that, because the reciprocation that Nrsimhadev, there is one scene, Nrsimhadev is actually hugging Prahlad at the end, and he licks him also. Now, this is all very shastric. This happened. So when somebody sees this, any devotee sees it, how will he not cry? Because this is the reciprocation of the Lord that we are all anticipating. We chant 16 rounds a day, we follow regulative principles, we try to hear Bhagavad, we try to do everything for what? To please the Lord, so that one day we can have his darshan, we can have his audience. And so when you see that happening with another devotee, then then there is faith. So this is what the Bhagavatam does. It nourishes our creeper of devotion. So this chapter, just to give you a short overview about this chapter, descriptions of the characteristics of King Puranjan. So now this is a conversation. As you know, the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is a conversation within a conversation within a conversation. Now, in this particular one, it is between Narad Muni and King Prachina Barishad. Prachina Barishad, his sons, the Prachetas, they have received the mercy of Lord Shiva just in the previous chapter, and they have recited the Rudra Gita. So Narad Muni, he is the eternal spiritual master of everyone. Narad Muni is the personality who not only comes within our sampradaya, he comes in other sampradayas also. And he is always, what kind of mood Narad Muni has? It's deep compassion. It's always trying to see how can these living entities be liberated. They don't want to liberate. Most of them are not interested. But it is Narad Muni who always goes behind, and he tries to make sure Yena Kena Prakarena Mana Krishna Nivesayat. So somehow or other, he tries to see how Krishna can enter into the personality. And this is the quality of a great preacher, who always thinks about how this is my audience. These are these personalities who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. How am I going to be able to give them? Srila Prabhupada also prays in Markine Bhagavad Dharma, which was the poem that Srila Prabhupada wrote on board the Jaladuta. There, Srila Prabhupada, he says that I don't know how this pure message of the Bhagavatam is going to be received by these Westerners who have had no interaction, who have had no exposure to Krishna consciousness in any shape or form. Please, my dear Lord, please make my speech suitable for their understanding. So this kind of prayer and mood, Srila Prabhupada also exemplified. So Narad Muni. So Narad Muni is asking Prachina Barishad, so what do you desire to achieve by all these karmas that you are doing? Prachina Barishad was actually he was materialistically motivated, engaged in karmic activities. So Narad Muni is asking him. And Prachina Barishad, just like any cultured person, he says that I don't know, you instruct me. And Narad Muni, he shows all the sacrificed animals that he has, all the sacrifices that he has performed, and he shows that you see all these animals you have sacrificed without compassion. They are waiting for your death so that they can pierce your body with iron horns, he says. So this Narad Muni is giving a glimpse what awaits you by doing all of these activities. Then Narad Muni understands that this is going to be difficult for Prachina Barisha to accept, and therefore he is actually introducing the concept by an allegorical story. So this is also a fantastic way of preaching, wherein now Narad Muni, you can see he's telling the story of Puranjan, but he's actually telling the story of Prachina Barisha. So there is one verse Srila Prabhupada quotes. He says, Upadesho hi murkhanam prakopya na shantaye. He says that if good instructions are given to a foolish rascal, he will become angry and he will go against the instructions instead of taking advantage of them. So if you tell somebody who is a murkha, who is a fool, if you give him good advice, he'll go against the advice. So we see that happening all the time in our modern day life and society. We see that you actually can't give advice to many people. There was a t-shirt quote. These t-shirt quotes are there wherein they write some interesting messages. So in one it was written, take my advice. I don't need it anyways. So people, they always want to give advice. But we always also find that even if you give good advice, there are hardly people who will take them, especially advice from the scripture, because truth is painful for people to accept. When our attachments are put in front of us, how difficult it is. So coming back, so Puranjan. Now this Puram means within the body and Jana means living entity. So everybody is Puranjan. He is representing all of us. Narad Muni goes on to explain about the city of 9 gates, which is actually this body. Nice example. City of 9 gates. All the holes of the body, they are basically compared to these gates. And we see that in what happens is Narad Muni is giving the description how Puranjan sees this beautiful woman and he becomes completely enamored. And then the description is given about Puranjani. The description is given about how he gets attracted to her form and then how he loses his mind. And Srila Prabhupada very beautifully explains about sex life in the purports. Just to summarize, Srila Prabhupada repeatedly expresses how sex life is actually the reason why we are there in this material world. Because this desire to enjoy sex life is so strong. Pumsam striya maituni bhava metam tayor mitho hridaya granthi mahur adagriya kshetra sutapta vitner janasya moho yamaham mameti. As soon as the man and woman they unite, then the Pumsam striya maituni bhava me tayor mitho hridaya granthi. The heart, there is a very hard knot which is there in the heart. Then after that, they need a house, Griha Kshetra, they need a field of activity. Sutapta Vittar. So then now there are going to be children and there is going to be an entire field of activities. And then what happens, an ordinary person, he gets engaged in Aham Mameti, I, me and mine. He's always engaged in this way. So, of course, sex life in itself is not bad, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Dharmo viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatar sabha. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. So if one is following religious principles, then the sex life can also be engaged in Krishna consciousness for the production of Krishna conscious progeny. Just like I am a Grihastha myself, I have 2 children. And even in our community, just like Shamchandra Prabhu was mentioning about Sitaram Prabhu and our group, we had to come to Dubai last month. Actually, we were all Grihasthas and we have a lot of children. So all these children, we try to keep them engaged in Krishna conscious activities all the time. The whole time, we are always contemplating. My primary service actually has been to engage children in the last couple of years. So in this way, this can be utilized because the world needs Vaishnavas. The world needs. There's a big dearth of devotees who have a lot of faith especially in Srila Prabhupada's movement. Big dearth is there. In this way, it can be utilized. Srila Prabhupada also mentions that how the sex impulse is there within the man's heart, or even up to the point of old age and even to death. One time in Paris, Srila Prabhupada, he was walking with his disciples. They were actually coming back from a program in the night. It was already late, and Prabhupada was seeing that they have all these clubs and they have all these bars. So then Prabhupada was seeing that one old man, he was struggling to walk on the street, and he asked his disciples, "So where is he going? What night now? Where is he going? Struggling like this?" And the disciple said that he's going there to the Lido show. He's going there to see half-naked women dance. And Srila Prabhupada, he had tears in his eyes. He had tears in his eyes, and he, out of compassion for, out of compassion for the living entities, Srila Prabhupada, he felt such special emotions that, like these tears were not stopping. He was crying. And he said that, just see, the body doesn't support, but still he wants to enjoy. Now, this is the material disease, lust. Lust is the material disease. One of the special lessons that we get from this section is about lust. Lust is both ways. Although in the Shastra, we may find that it is mentioned about that the man is watching the beautiful woman and getting attracted, but it works both ways. The woman also she also wants enjoyment. In fact, Srila Prabhupada, he mentions this also, that every woman in this world wants her husband to be influential, powerful, rich. Because man wants to enjoy a beautiful woman, and woman wants to enjoy a powerful and opulent man. Now, this is the truth. In life, when we come across the truth, it may seem to be harsh. It may seem to be bitter. It's the bitter truth, they say. However, this truth is very empowering. When we, why, especially the Shastra, you will find so many sections in the Bhagavatam, like this one, Puranjan section. And then there is also, in the 5th canto, you will find the forest of material enjoyment, wherein Jadabharat is preaching to Maharaj Rahugada. There also, even the story of Pururava and Urvashi, that's another story, 9th canto. Aila Gita, that comes in 11th canto. These are sections there where you will find this whole aspect of lust has been in detail described, and the consequences of it have also been elaborately mentioned. One may now think that why is it so strongly, what is the need? What is the need? So what happens is that the more we accept the truth, the more we swallow the truth, the less we want to engage in activities which are detrimental for our well-being. For example, everybody knows this company called Cadbury. Cadbury, they make chocolates. They're very famous chocolates, everywhere. A few years ago, in the Cadbury chocolates, they found worms. Worms. And what happened is, as a result of this, the stocks dropped, sales dropped like anything. Cadbury had a very bad name for a while. People stopped buying. Just imagine, chocolate in itself is quite addictive. People love eating, especially Cadbury chocolates has a very, very big market for selling chocolates. One of the key players in this industry. But stocks dropped like anything. Why? Why did people stop it? Because they didn't want to, they lost faith. They thought that the credibility of this company has gone down, they're having worms. Now see, this was found out that they had worms. But who knew that probably even a while before also, or they had some bad, they have GMP, good manufacturing practices. They must not be having that. And there could have been worms in many other chocolates also, and people would have eaten them also without even figuring out that there were worms in those chocolates. Somebody caught it, so they complained, and then it became a sensation. The point being that, the moment you come to know the truth, then you're not going to act foolishly. So when people came to know that the Cadbury chocolate wallas are not, they're having worms, they're not being careful, and we don't want to eat worms. So they immediately stopped buying. Although they would have loved to keep eating those chocolates. Of course, then the company had to go through a makeover, and they had so many different. They did such big propaganda and marketing that now it's not there, etc., etc. Then they recovered. But the point being, the moment you come to know something is diluted, adulterated, you don't want to be cheated. You don't want to go there because you come to know the truth. So the truth is like that. It is very powerful. Krishna Surya Saman Maya hoy andhakar. Jahar Krishna tahar nahi Mayera adhikar. Wherever there is Krishna, there is light. Krishna is like the sun. In our life, as much as the sun, the brightness of the truth shines within our heart, in our consciousness, to that extent we are out of illusion. And to that extent we are able to experience what we are actually searching for. So coming out of illusion, that is what Bhagavatam does. It switches on a light of, because in our consciousness there is darkness. So the truth is what is illuminated. So this is the truth, the naked truth of the body. Wherein, this description is given about man and woman. How man is like butter and woman is like fire. And when they come together, then the butter melts. And then there can be a very, very difficult situation due to attachment. And this completely impedes spiritual progress. That is why this section you will find that it is such elaborately described. Two types of heroes Prabhupada mentions. There's one hero which is servant of the senses, is the material hero. And there is a master of the senses or the Goswami. He is the spiritual hero. You choose which hero you want to become. So these are some points here of the previous section. This particular section where we are, we will find this is a section from verse number 25 to 44, wherein a beautiful woman becomes Puranjana's queen. So how she becomes? Because when he sees her, he feels attracted, and then he goes behind her, chasing. In the modern day life, we call it, they're basically dating. He wants to basically ask her out. And but in cultured societies, then they don't have courtship, they have marriage. And therefore we find that Puranjan is directly asking her that you become my wife. It's a direct marriage proposal because he wants to enjoy in a legitimate way. Even that much culture Puranjan had. Unfortunately, in today's day, we find that that culture is almost becoming non-existent. Even in India, and those who are having this culture also, it is becoming like that. And therefore, it becomes the responsibility of those who are in this Krishna consciousness movement to safeguard the culture. So he's asking her, join me, show your face. And Puranjani also got attracted to him, to Puranjana, because anybody, you see, women, children especially, it's attention. They want attention. They want to be cherished. So when anybody gives attention, they feel very, very, their heart melts. So same thing happened with Puranjani. And in this particular verse, we will find that Puranjani is replying. So can we have the verse, please?
Yes, Prabhu. Just one second.
Okay. So what we'll do is, I'll just, you can just, we'll not switch on the mics. Is that okay? I'll just recite the verse and I'll leave some time gap so that you can recite it at your, at your place. So it doesn't become like the voices don't clash. Na vidama vayam samyak kartaram purushar
Kartaram
atmanascha parasyapi
Atmanascha parasyapi
gotram nama cha yat kritam.
Gotram nama chayat kritam.
Okay, word to word translation. Na, do not. Vidama, no. Vayam, I. Samyak, perfectly. Kartaram maker, Purusha Rishabha, O best of human beings, Atmanaha of myself, Cha and Parasya of others, Api also, Gotram family history, Nama name, Cha and Yat Kritam which has been made by whom? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The girl said, O best of human beings, I do not know who has begotten me. I cannot speak to you perfectly about this, nor do I know the names or the origin of the associates with me. So, because Puranjan has asked a question, who are you? Where are you coming from? Whose daughter are you? What is your purpose of coming here? Who are your 11 strong bodyguards? Who are the women following them? Who is that snake that is preceding you? So he's asking these questions. So she's replying, I don't know who has begotten. That means I don't know who has begotten me means, what is my source? I cannot speak to you perfectly. I don't even know their origins, where they come from. Purport. The living entity is ignorant of his origin. He does not know why this material world was created, why others are working in this material world, and what the ultimate source of this manifestation is. No one knows the answers to these questions, and this is called ignorance. Now, see, this is very interesting and very important. If we don't know where we are coming from, we don't know where we will go. We do not know where we should go, which direction we should proceed, because we don't know where we are coming from. Example, in front of you, there is a plate, there is puri, there is sabji, there is halwa, there is another few sweets, and there is rice, there is dal. All this is put in front of your plate, but you don't know whether it is bhoga or is it prasad. So what will you do with it? You don't know. So life is stuck like this because we don't know where the plate has come from. So where it should go, you don't know. If it were bhoga, you know it has to be offered. If it was prasad, you could have honored it. In the same way, when we have no idea about where we come from, then where to go? That is exactly the situation with almost everyone in this material world. Somehow, we are all very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has explained us clearly that our origin is the spiritual world. We are part and parcel of Krishna, and we have lost our way. Now what we need to do? Not engage in building buildings on the bridge. Human life is the bridge. Do you ever see somebody building buildings on a bridge? No, the bridge is to go from one place to the other. In the same way, what we are supposed to do is that in this human form of life, we have to make sure that we are making our future secure. Basically, it means not our old age. Making our future secure means our next life secure, which means that we have to go back home, back to God, into the spiritual world. That is the real security. So this is ignorance, wherein people have no idea about what their identity is, what their origin is. And just see the systematic brainwashing that was done by the Britishers, and who basically removed India's Vedic system, the Gurukula system. And from childhood, the children who are taught the details about Vedic life, about culture, about where they come from. Like in India, everyone has a Gotra. So why? Because you belong to the family lineage of some Rishi, of some Maharshi. When we don't have that, when we don't know, then you will be, how will one not be brainwashed by Darwin's idea that we came from monkeys? So if we came from monkeys and if we are animals, so then what is the harm in behaving like animals? So therefore, Ahar, Nidra, Bhai and Maithun, eating, sleeping, mating and defending, 4 activities that animals perform. But if human being is also considered to be an animal, then why will one want to rise above it? And therefore, dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho. That means that dharma is only that it is dharma which makes a human being and different from an animal. But how does it matter if we have this conception that we are animals? This is an example of how, when we have no idea where we are coming from, we can conclude wrongly that we are animals, or like Hitler was successful in making the Germans believe that they were Aryans and they were superior human race. A wrong conception of where they are coming from. And just see what happened. They committed numerous atrocities against the Jews, and uh, ultimately, what happened that the entire empire, I mean, Hitler had to commit suicide. You can go completely off if you are not clear about your identity. This particular verse talks about our identity. Can we have the sharing, please? Screen sharing. Okay, ahead here. By researching into the origin of life, important scientists are finding some chemical compositions or cellular combinations. But actually, no one knows the original source of life within this material world. The phrase Brahma Jigyasa is used to indicate an inquisitiveness to know the original source of our existence in this material world. No philosopher, scientist, or politician actually knows where from we have come, why we are here struggling so hard for existence, and where we will go. Generally, people are of the opinion that we are all here accidentally, and as soon as these bodies are finished, all our dramatic activities will be finished, and we will become zero. Such scientists and philosophers are impersonalists and voidists. In this verse, the girl is expressing the actual position of the living entity. She cannot tell Puranjan her father's name because she doesn't know from where she has come. Nor does she know why she is present in that place. She frankly says that she does not know anything about all of this. This is the position of the living entity in the material world. There are so many scientists, philosophers, and big leaders, but they do not know where from they have come, nor do they know why they are busy within this material world to obtain a position of so-called happiness. In this material world, we have many nice facilities for living, but we are so foolish that we do not ask who has made this world habitable for us and arranged it so nicely. Everything is functioning in order, but people foolishly think that they are produced by chance in this material world and that after death they will become zero. They think that this beautiful place of habitation will automatically remain. So here we find that how Srila Prabhupada he expresses that how people are completely misdirected. People they function like this. WWS. So they work very hard. W stands for work. People work very hard. Why do they work hard? So that they can watch. That's the second W. W for watch, W for work, then W for what do they watch? So a couple of decades ago, there was a device called the television. Nowadays, we have TV screens, but we have device which basically steals our consciousness. So this device is basically what we watch. So we watch social media and we watch so much of content. Now, the entire have you ever thought how do television and I'm watching for free. For example, I just have an internet connection and I watch all the social media sites like YouTube, etc. I watch them for free. Live streaming, I just stream, I watch. How do they make money? So they make money by advertisements. Advertisement is a very big industry. And advertising industry actually makes a fool out of us. They brainwash us to make you believe. In marketing, they are taught like this. It's there in their syllabus. They are taught to basically come up with ideas that can brainwash the general public. And what they can do, thus, they can bewilder them and they can convince them that whatever products they are having are useless if they don't have this one. That's how the entire marketing industry works, wherein they have to convince you that they have the best product. So then how will they convince you if they don't make you feel inferior of what you're already having? So this is like the modern day Shurpanakha. Shurpanakha tried to advertise to Ravana the beauty of Sita. Actually when Ravana, when he heard from Shurpanakha that Khar and Dushan have been killed by Ram, he had already heard about Ram before. And then when he heard Khar, Dushan and 40,000 Rakshasas had been killed by Ram alone, single-handedly, he did not want to go to challenge Lord Ram in any way. He had no intention. Shurpanakha used her cunning. And what did she do? She glorified Mother Sita in such a way so as to trigger the lusty desires within Ravana. And that lust, when it was aroused, made Ravana go to kidnap Mother Sita. This is exactly what the Shurpanakha is. This is the comparison to the modern day advertising industry, which advertises in such a way that a person feels that the only thing I need to do is buy. And then you have applications like Amazon, etc., wherein you can just, by the click of a finger, you can purchase anything. To your home it comes. You don't even have to go. Of course, men like it very much because it's very practical. But women don't like it because there is no scope for window shopping. There's no scope to go around and go and see. Because for women, by nature, they want to experience. It's the experience. For men, it's like just get things done and finish. So, the point being that modern day life, especially urban life, in city life, we find that it puts us in such an illusion. Now, if you want to buy things, people equate their idea of happiness with buying things. There is a surge of dopamine in your mind when you buy. You immediately feel there is a little high that you get when you buy. So that dopamine is released. People equate that happiness is equal to shopping. So now for shopping, they need money. Money will come when they work. So then they have to work. So they work the whole day. They work very hard so that they can go home. Then they watch advertisements, get brainwashed, and thus they buy. Thus they purchase. So just see how much illusion the modern day society puts us in. And then this is our conception of happiness. Well, real happiness comes when we become more and more Krishna conscious. Actually, material happiness also doesn't come by the modern day propaganda. Even material happiness doesn't come. For material happiness also, one has to be in Sattva Gun. So, for example, if people live a life wherein they live off the land, live naturally, live in the countryside, amidst greenery, that is the place where still they can have material happiness. So the conception that we have of happiness is far away from reality in modern day life. And this is the illusion that we have to, by knowledge, by truth, and by spiritual practice, we can realize, and then we can overcome also. So just like we are so careful that we don't get cheated, in India especially, people will bargain with the sabji wala like anything. Anybody who goes to buy sabjis will find they bargain. Sometimes we are very careful that even the auto rickshaw wala doesn't cheat us by 5-10 rupees. We are so careful. We don't want to be cheated. Nobody wants to be cheated. Then how can we allow this demon of consumerism to cheat us in this way every day? And therefore, this work, watch, and shop, that's WWS, is the daily routine and daily cycle that equates happiness in modern day life. This we should overcome. And how do we do that? It requires a little bit of strong association of devotees who are themselves engaged in serving the Lord in different ways, like especially chanting and hearing of his pastimes. If we develop a taste for hearing Krishna Katha, and if we do more and more Tattva Jigyasa, then you will find that higher taste, we can give up the lower one. If we make it a habit of waking up early in the morning and we are chanting Hare Krishna, then that higher taste, we can give up the lower one. If we are trying to keep ourselves strong in the association of Vaishnavas, then by their attachment to devotional process, we get some mercy, and thus we can give up the lower taste. So that's the way in which we can attempt. Once Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Shubhag Maharaj, he asked Srila Prabhupada, this lust is troubling so much. Is there no way in which we can curb lust? Srila Prabhupada replied, he used to say, Mr. Lust. So Prabhupada said, Mr. Lust, Then he thought for a while and said, Govinda Ichha. Lust can be curbed when Govinda Ichha, that means when Krishna desires. So our endeavor is to make sure that we are sincerely endeavoring on this path of Krishna consciousness. If we are sincere, if we are serious about making devotional progress, Krishna from outside as Vaishnava Sangha and inside as Chaitanya Guru Paramatma in our heart, he shows us different ways and makes provisions for us by which we can overcome this tendency. Fight is going to be there, inevitable, right? Why Krishna tells Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Because there is only fight in this world. For survival, existence, there is always you're going to fight. So we choose our battles. Let us choose the right ones. And let us choose this battle of lust and let us try to win it. And thus we become a real hero, which is a Goswami, a master of the senses. As Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport of this particular chapter, if a person becomes a servant of the senses, he is glorified as a hero in this material world. But we don't want a certificate from karmis that you are very good. We want a certificate from Krishna that this person has done whatever it takes to please me. We want a certificate from Krishna at the end. So let us stay strongly determined in our progressive path of Krishna conscious cultivation. And then pray to Krishna that may I become attracted to you so that this lust can be overcome by your mercy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. So we can take some questions, if any.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Nitai Madhav Prabhu, for the wonderful class. And I request all the devotees, they can ask in Hindi as well. One by one, they can raise their hand and they can ask question. It's a very good time to ask question from Prabhu as a very senior and very give you the practical implication of this your doubts. Okay. So our devotees, Prabhu, they are regularly coming into the class, and I request if Bhakti Manjari Mataji and Anukumari Mataji has they raised their hand, and other devotees also can raise their hand and ask the question in the chat box. आप हिंदी में भी पूछ सकते हैं, प्रभु जी हिंदी में भी बात करते हैं, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. Oh, sorry. Actually, मुझे इन लोगों को unmute करने का allow करना था. That is the reason they are not. Okay, now I have allowed you to mute yourself. That time I was not allowing anybody. Yes. Can you unmute yourself and Bhakti Mataji and Anu Mataji?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Okay.
Yes. One by one. Okay, please go ahead. Ask the question. अनु माता जी आप पूछ लीजिए.
पूछिए
Hare
अनुमाता
Krishna,
जी.
Prabhuji.
We have a very short time. I request Bhakti Mata ji, Anu Mata ji, please ask the question very fast.
हेलो हरे कृष्णा मैं पूछ ली हूँ. आप देर हो जाएगी फिर. प्रभु जी पंचांग प्रणाम. प्रभु जी व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन इग्नोरेंस एंड नॉलेज? आई जस्ट वांट टू नो अबाउट. हिंदी में कहते हैं विद्या और अविद्या में क्या अंतर है मूल रूप से. इसको थोड़ा सा अच्छी तरह से जानना चाहते हूँ.
व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस, मतलब हाँ, इग्नोरेंस, अविद्या और विद्या में क्या अंतर है? अच्छा प्रश्न है. सो विद्या, व्हाट इज नॉलेज? नॉलेज इज द ट्रूथ अबाउट कृष्णा. तो भगवान के बारे में जो भी हमें मालूम है तो शास्त्र से ज्ञान मिलता है. सो जो भी ज्ञान हमें शास्त्र से प्राप्त होता है, and whatever Krishna illuminates, that knowledge which becomes realization, तो ये सारा ज्ञान की कैटेगरी, विद्या की कैटेगरी में आ जाता है. तो भगवान जो है वो हमारे लिए शास्त्र छोड़ कर गए हैं. तो शास्त्र के आधारित पर जो भी ज्ञान है, दैट इज ऑल विद्या. And avidya or ignorance means the absence of this. Just like darkness doesn't have any existence on its own. Darkness is what? It's the absence of light. अंधकार जो है ना अपने आप में कुछ नहीं होता है. लाइट नहीं है तो वहां अंधकार है, वहां अंधेरा है. इन द सेम वे where vidya or knowledge, that is the only existence, and absence of it is ignorance. वो है नहीं तो वो ignorance है. So ignorance is characterized by tamogun and vidya by sattvagun. So we find that as more and more sattvagun is illuminated, just like the sun comes, in the same way, ignorance or darkness is vanquished. Is that okay?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Anumataji, you can ask question. And we have many devotees from Pakistan as well, Prahlad Desh, so they can also ask question. Yeah, 5-6 devotees are there. They are chanting and recently joined our e-temple.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Prabhu, I have a question. Tulsi Prabhu is a wonderful devotee. He's joined us recently 2 weeks ago, Prabhu, and he's from Pakistan and living in a village side, and he's a very educated and young boy.
Wow.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a question. That as in Bhagavad Gita, it is also said, the kind of bhojan you eat, the kind of behavior and characteristic you show. So, Prabhu, and we always pretend to eat Krishna Prasad. So, Prabhu, if for any reason, and it is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita that the bhojan which is cooked, and after 4 to 5 hours, it becomes tamoguni. Tamo bhojan. Is it, am I right?
Yeah, so what is exactly the question?
Yes, Prabhu, my question exactly is, so for a reason, if I cannot eat the Krishna Prasad for that time, for exactly at that time when it is cooked or when it is served, so can I put this for some hours and then can I eat it?
Yeah, that's fine. That practically, yeah, that is done. That I
Or we
mean,
can say the Krishna Prasad
these are
can
some
never.
these are some practical considerations. The best thing is that ऐसे questions के लिए, it is best if you ask your immediate authority who knows your situation properly, so that they can give you good guidance. But if you ask me personally, yeah, I mean, we have to be practical in the sense that the most ideal thing is to always cook fresh food, offer it to Krishna and honor. That's the best thing. If not, then you try what next best you can do. It's always like that.
जी. Okay, Prabhu. धन्यवाद. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Kanchan Pranam. Prabhuji, I have a question. You have given an example of Cadbury, where people know about the storms in Cadbury and they immediately stop eating it and have no interest in it. So, Prabhuji, my question was that we do hearing from pure Vaishnavas, and we are also in association. So, although having knowledge that we should leave such a material desires, which is not good of our devotion, although we do that, मतलब फिर भी हम लोग वैसे मतलब करते हैं, जबकि हम लोग को नॉलेज थोड़ा बहुत हो जाता है कि हम लोग को वो में नहीं रहना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, फिर भी तो जैसे नॉलेज होने के बाद कि जैसे स्टॉर्म कैडबरी में हम लोग छोड़ देते हैं, तो इसमें क्यों नहीं छोड़ पाते? इसमें जैसे जान गए कि हायर टेस्ट भगवान की भक्ति में है, फिर भी उसमें मन नहीं लगता, उसमें इंटरेस्ट नहीं आता. हरे कृष्णा. पंचांग प्रणाम प्रभु.
तो ये जो टेस्ट होता है ना, टेस्ट के द्वारा ही आप छोड़ सकते हैं, क्योंकि मन जो है ना वो अटैच हो जाता है. तो माइंड जो है, देखिए टेस्ट कैसे आता है? टेस्ट है ना ऐसे व्यक्तियों के संग में रहने से आता है जिनको खुद टेस्ट मिला है. तो आप जब जैसे आप है ना, इफ यू वांट टू टेक सम हैबिट, जैसे कोई किसी को अल्कोहल लेने की हैबिट उसको डालनी है, क्या करना है? कुछ नहीं करना है, सिर्फ जाकर जो अल्कोहलिक्स है उनके बाजू में जाकर बैठ जाएगा तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो भी पीना चालू कर देगा. बिल्कुल उसी तरह से आप जैसा बोलते, जैसा संग वैसा रंग. So the kind of association we keep, the same kind of habits we develop. So now it's a very good thing that at least we realize that our situation अभी समझ में आता है, पहले तो पता भी नहीं था. देखिए ज्ञान का असर ये है कि एटलीस्ट मालूम पड़ गया कि हमें नहीं करना है, फिर भी टेस्ट नहीं है इसलिए नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. हमें क्या नहीं करना है, क्या सही है क्या गलत, एटलीस्ट इसकी परख तो हो गई. So now what has to be done is to develop and cultivation of taste. So why? Because anarthas are very strong in our heart. It becomes very difficult. You have to sit or intensify the bhakti. आप है ना, हम अकेले नहीं ये सब कर सकते हैं. जितना ज्यादा हम वैसी चेतना रखते हैं कि उन भक्तों के साथ हमें संग में रहना है. देखिए एडवांस्ड एसोसिएशन है ना, वो इतनी आसानी से नहीं प्राप्त होता है. बिकॉज उसके लिए आपको उन वैष्णवों को प्लीज करना पड़ता है. And generally, senior Vaishnavas, you will find they're always engaged in Krishna conscious services all the time. तो कैसे होता है इसका सीक्रेट बताता हूँ. महाजन ये ना गथा सा पंथा. आपको क्या करना है, महाजनों जो सीनियर वैष्णव है, आप है ना कंधा देना है हमारा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी का. ये तरीका है. देखिए क्या होता है, हम जब उनको बोलते हैं, हम सीनियर वैष्णव उसको ऑफर करते हैं कि क्या सेवा कर सकता हूँ या क्या सेवा कर सकती हूँ, वो उन्होंने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लिया हुआ है, उनके पास टेस्ट है. ऐसे व्यक्तियों के पास हम जाते हैं और बोलते हैं कि आप मुझे सेवा, मदद का मौका, सेवा तो क्या है, हम वी कैन असिस्ट देम. तो क्या होता है ना, जब हम असिस्ट करते हैं तो हम अपना कंधा देते, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेते हैं. तो क्या होता है ना कि एक तो उनकी कृपा प्राप्त होती है, बिकॉज दे बिकम हैप्पी एंड प्लीज्ड. तो ये जो कृपा है ना, इससे जो स्पीड में शुद्धिकरण होता है, ये स्पीड से जो टेस्ट प्राप्त होता है, इसका कोई तोड़ नहीं है. ये रामबाण है. दिस इज द बेस्ट वे wherein we serve senior Vaishnavas by accepting a part of the responsibility. तो दिस इज द रियल वे. आप देखेंगे, आप इतना प्रगति करेंगे फास्ट, इतना टेस्ट हो जाएगा. जब टेस्ट हो गया, जब एक बार मन अटैच हो जाता है कृष्ण कथा में, फिर आप अपने आप छोड़ देंगे. जैसे जमुनाचार्य बोलते हैं, when I think of sex life, I spit at the thought. थूक देते हैं. क्यों, कैसे थूक सकते हैं जहां पूरी दुनिया एक दिशा में जा रही है? वो कैसे थूक? बिकॉज वो टेस्ट दूसरी जगह पर कृष्ण कॉन्शियस एसोसिएशन में, ये जो भगवान की भक्ति और भक्ति के कथा के लिए, कृष्ण कथा कृष्ण कीर्तन के लिए टेस्ट इतना बढ़ गया कि डजंट मैटर. सो दिस इज द वे. आई होप दैट आंसर्स योर क्वेश्चन, माता जी.
जी प्रभु जी, लेकिन प्रभु जी जो अधिकतर मतलब जो सीनियर वैष्णव हैं जिनका एसोसिएशन मिल रहा है, वो ऑनलाइन के थ्रू मिलता है, तो ऑनलाइन में कैसे सेवा कर सकते हैं प्रभु जी?
वो घर पे बैठे सेवा तो थोड़ी ना, सेवा जो है, देखिए संग ऑनलाइन तो एक संग प्राप्त करने का तरीका है. आप बहुत सारी सेवाएं कर सकते हैं. आप पूछिए तो सही. देखिए हम सेवा अभिलाषी जो है ना, ये होता हमारा कर्तव्य है. सेवा भगवान और उनके भक्त देते हैं, वो उनका हेडेक है. क्या सेवा
नहीं,
देंगे वो उनका हेडेक है.
she's very nice devotee and she is taking responsibility. हफ्ते में 2 दिन माता जी अनु जो है वो होस्टिंग करती है, जैसे हम होस्टिंग कर रहे हैं रीडिंग की. तो शी इज
हमको
अ वेरी
सेवा
हम्बल,
प्रभु
वेरी
जी
हम्बल
आप
devotee.
नो
ओके अनु
प्रभु
माता
जी,
जी,
प्रभु जी, यू आर नॉट गिविंग मी सेवा प्रभु जी.
अनु माता जी बहुत भावुक भक्त है, हमारे कांग्रेगेशन के बच्चे हैं, हमारे छोटे बच्चे की तरह हैं, बहुत अच्छी भक्त है. और तुलसी प्रभु, हम लोग एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन लेंगे, प्रभु जी को फिर जाना भी होगा, वरना तो प्रभु जी तो हम बैठे हैं, कोई चिंता की बात नहीं है. फिर भी अगर इच्छा हो तो आप कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं. प्रभु, आई हैव अ वन क्वेश्चन, वेरी वेरी क्विक क्वेश्चन विद यू, दैट फॉर एग्जांपल, ओके, सूर्यांशु प्रकाश प्रभु और तुलसी प्रभु, आप लोग बात पूछ लीजिए प्लीज.
नहीं प्रभु जी, आप पूछ लीजिए.
नहीं नहीं, सूर्यांशु प्रभु आप पूछिए, आप यंग है, आपको पूछना चाहिए प्लीज.
प्रभु जी, I am telling that everyone has a lusty desire, but everyone knowing it is wrong, but then also everyone is doing that. So how to overcome or conquer the emotion of that lusty desire that everyone having and knowing that it is wrong, but then also everyone doing.
क्या एक्चुअली ये क्वेश्चन तो अर्जुन ने भी पूछा था भगवत गीता में आता है. वो बोलता है कि सबको मालूम है एग्जैक्टली जो आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा है, सेम थिंग अर्जुन आस्क्स इन द 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He asks this question that we know that this is wrong, but still we keep doing it. And Krishna gives the answer: Kama esha, krodha esha, rajo guna samudbhava, mahashano mahapapma, vidyanami avairinam. He says that it's lust, the insatiable enemy of everyone. It's there within the system. सिस्टम में वायरस है, आपको एंटीवायरस लगाना है। तो वो एंटीवायरस क्या है? दैट इज हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र। आप जितना ज्यादा जप करेंगे उतना स्ट्रगल जो है ना इजियर हो जाएगी। स्ट्रगल रहेगा लेकिन इट विल बिकम इजियर बाय चैंटिंग। अच्छा, दूसरा है कि अब लस्ट के जो लस्ट इज देयर इन द माइंड, इट इज देयर, इट इज अ कंटामिनेशन दैट इज प्रेजेंट नाउ। ये कैसा रहता है ना कि ये ट्रिगर होता है। ट्रिगर ऑल द टाइम यू कैंट बी लस्टी। आप कुछ टाइम पे ट्रिगर होते हैं और कुछ है वो गंदी फीलिंग आती है। तो ये दो तरीके, दो चीजें होती है। एक है कि आइज को कंट्रोल करना है। देखिए, फॉर मेन स्पेशली, प्रैक्टिकल में चीज बता रहा हूं क्योंकि आपने प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चन पूछा है। तो फॉर मेन स्पेशली इट इज द आइज दैट हैव टू बी कंट्रोल्ड, एंड फॉर विमेन दे हैव टू कंट्रोल द ईयर्स। तो वीक, दिस इज अ वीक पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी। मतलब ये आइज जो है ना खास करके भटक जाती है। So lust enters through the eyes. हम ऐसा कुछ देख लेते हैं। Just Ajamil, he saw a Shudra and Shudrani embracing. So then he was not able to control himself. So if our eyes are controlled, if we don't allow our eyes to go everywhere, तो जो है ना वो मेंटली जो इनपुट है वो कम हो जाएगा। तो जैसे आप गलत वेबसाइट पे अगर जाते हैं, तो उसमें वायरस आ जाता है सिस्टम में। लेकिन अगर एंटीवायरस अगर डाला है, अगर जाएंगे ही नहीं तो एंटीवायरस तो प्रोटेक्ट करके रखेगा, लेकिन तो वायरस जो है ना इट विल कम लेसर। इन द सेम वे, अगर हम जो है इधर उधर भटकेंगे नहीं तो जो फाइट है इट बिकम्स इजियर। सो टू कंट्रोल द आईज एंड टू कंट्रोल आवर एसोसिएशन, इट इज वेरी मैंडेटरी। Another practical, this is one aspect of control, and the second aspect is to develop ruchi and taste for taking darshan of Krishna. So more we meditate on Krishna's form, इसलिए विग्रह होते हैं। अब है ना इस्कॉन मंदिरों के जो विग्रह है उनके दर्शन जो है ना आप ले सकते हैं, एंड देन यू कैन सी हाउ ब्यूटीफुली दे आर डेकोरेटेड, दे आर ड्रेस्ड। एक्चुअली जो पुजारीज होते हैं ना टेम्पल में, they become so absorbed in that dressing that they don't see, they don't need to see. I have personally seen कि कितने पुजारीज है, दे कोई इवन सुंदर सी महिला उधर से पास होती है ना वो देखेंगे नहीं, क्योंकि वो कैसे डेवलप होता है, क्योंकि उनकी जो चेतना है वो भगवान को ड्रेस करने में है। तो भगवान के अंग, भगवान के जो वस्त्र है इनके ऊपर उनका कंटेम्पलेशन होता है। दे आर ऑलवेज थिंकिंग अबाउट दैट। तो फिर ये क्या हो गया? लोअर टेस्ट, परम दृष्टवा निवर्तते, लोअर टेस्ट बिकम्स इनसिग्निफिकेंट। ये तरीका है। But it is not easy. It's going to take time. It's gradual, and we have to keep endeavoring.